Hi, I'm glad you could join me today, and welcome to the joy of painting.
You recognize his iconic image,
Everybody knows Bob Ross, and especially his hair.
signature phrases,
A happy little cloud that floats around and just has fun all day.
and calming voice.
Anything that you want, you can build here. This is your world.
But how much do you really know about the man in front of the black curtain? Coming to Virginia Public Television stations, Bob Ross, the Happy Painter.
I talk to only one person when I'm filming, and I'm really crazy about that person.
He makes it look incredibly easy, but the interesting thing is that when people actually try to do it, they have success.
I used to watch Bob Ross all the time, and there's things you pick up watching him, like the way to do a pine tree with the fan brush. Go straight up, you do little pieces all the way down.
My father, he spent most of his time when he came home from work watching public television. He would have us watch Bob Ross, where we would learn how to paint and learn how to use our imagination.
People continually say, I can't draw a straight line. I don't have the talent, Bob, to do what you're doing. That's baloney. Talent is a pursued interest.
Like, I really unwind when I watch his show. He's just like semi-enchanting. He really puts like a good feeling into my heart.
There was something about when you're a kid, and I'm sure the word magic gets used a lot, but I mean, it really is like magic.
We'll share interesting secrets about the show.
His hair was very straight. He got his hair permed when he first left Alaska because he thought that if he got his hair permed, he wouldn't have to pay for haircuts. And he couldn't change that because we had made a logo out of it. We would get calls from people that Bob had been in the Air Force with who didn't recognize Bob because of the hair. But when they saw the missing finger, they would remember that it was Bob Ross.
And we'll explore his passion for animals.
We had lots of creatures on the show.
Peapod the pocket squirrel was one of his favorites.
This documentary takes you inside the factory where Bob's specially formulated firm oil paints are made.
Bob was very adamant about what he wanted. He was kind of a perfectionist because he knew the system that he developed would work for a beginner if it was formulated a certain way.
This documentary will take you behind the scenes for an intimate look at what made his show so successful. We hope you'll join us for a new high-definition documentary, Bob Ross, the Happy Painter.
So I think we'll call this one finished. And from all of us here, I'd like to wish you happy painting and God bless.
Hello. Today, I'm doing my religious vocations project on Bobbert Ross. He was an excellent creative and artist who believed in spreading joy and happiness through wonderful art. Today, I will show how he embodies the Franciscan virtues of justice and peace, charity, and joy. Robert Norman Bobby Ross was born on October 29, 1942 in Daytona, Florida. He grew up with a love and appreciation for nature and wildlife, and alongside this, he was a carpenter for his dad. One day, in a carpentry accident, he accidentally cut off one of his fingers. This accident caused him a life change, and in 1960, he joined the military. As an 18-year-old, he enlisted in the Air Force and was put in service as a medical records technician. He rose up the ranks until he reached the rank of Master Sergeant and served as the first sergeant under the U.S. Air Force Clinic at the Eielson Air Force Base in Alaska. As a sergeant in the military, he was quite a tough and mean man. He developed a reputation as a ball buster among the subordinate military personnel. This gained him the nickname Bust 'em Up Bobby. He vowed if he ever left the military, he would never raise his voice or yell again. To cope with his anger in this job, he started attending art classes at the Anchorage USO. He was immediately skilled at his craft and in conflict with the teachers. During this time, he sold landscape Alaskan paintings painted on gold prospecting pans. He used a process known as wet-on-wet painting. He continued to learn and evolve this style, which was created by someone known as William Alexander. Ross was passionate about peace and sharing his love of art and painting with others. In 1982, he launched The Joy of Painting, a public television series featured on the screen, in which he would teach people how to paint as well as market his painting supplies. To reach a greater audience and to promote his TV show, Bob toured and taught people how to paint. As his show grew popular, so did the live audiences attending these public lessons. He recorded 400 plus episodes of this show, and today it remains one of the most popular and well-known public broadcasting television shows. His passion for inspiring and teaching others is renowned today as one of the best examples of sharing one's love of art. His technique continues to be spread around the world through thousands. Bob Ross personifies the Franciscan virtues of peace and justice, charity, and joy. Bob Ross was a firm advocate of peace over violence. He had been in the military and he had seen how violence truly affects people, and because of this, he chose more creative outlets such as art. He advocated this peace continuously throughout his 400 plus episodes of his show as well as in his personal life. Bob Ross was a large supporter of charity. The whole premise around his show was teaching people fun and easy ways to paint without paying them exorbitant amounts of money. In fact, he even went on tour giving public painting lessons to anyone who would attend as a way to promote his show. As he said in an interview,
"Say out loud, your work will never hang in a museum."
No.
Bob!
Well, maybe it will, but probably not the Smithsonian.
Because why, Bob? What's the deal here? What are you telling us?
Well, I'm trying to teach people a form of art that anybody can do. This is art for anyone who's ever wanted to put a dream on canvas. It's not traditional art, it's not fine art, and I don't...
Bob Ross didn't do his paintings for fame. He did it to help people and to be happy. Through this, he personified the virtues of charity and, as you will see, joy. Bob Ross lived and loved life joyfully. He was an optimist who, throughout his show and throughout his life, believed in nothing more than savoring what you had and seeing the joy around you. He personified the virtue of joy through giving others a happy, creative outlet, as well as providing millions with public entertainment on television. As he is quoted repeatedly saying, "Look around. Look at what we have. Beauty is everywhere. You only have to look to see it."